Let the galaxy burn.
Hi guys, Skypoint here. The Legio Custodes are finally in the game, so as usual we're going to go and take a quick first look at their cards. Now I haven't seen their cards apart from the ones which were part of the reveals, so and you're going to get my genuine reaction to those. So what we know so far about the Custodes from the early reveals is that they're based around small numbers of powerful units, either powerful troops where the keyword Sentinel, which stops you from drawing cards, limits how many you can really get out there at once, or through powerful warlords with some neat buffing abilities. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at their cards. Okay, so we're going to start as normal by taking a look at the warlords and then going through the cards from the cheapest to most expensive. So we start with the common warlord, I guess rare technically, the green warlord, Aries Nassau. So we did see him during the reveal, so he's got 2 attack and 30 health like all the common warlords. Now he's got this new first strike keyword. It says when attacking, enemies killed don't retaliate. So at first glance, this seems a lot like sneak attack, except with sneak attack, the enemy doesn't retaliate no matter what. With first strike, the enemy doesn't retaliate only if you kill the enemy. So it's a slightly less powerful version of sneak attack, although, yeah, I think most of the time it's going to, when you attack with him, you'll be trying to take advantage of this. It'll have the same effect as sneak attack. Alright. And then his energy ability, this is also really cool. Deal 2 damage to an enemy, just like Loken, but if it dies, you gain precognition until your next turn, meaning you cannot be targeted by normal attacks. Enemy abilities and tactics can still target you, but regular attacks can't. And he's got high initiative, so this guy is basically like Gabriel Loken of the Sons of Horus, but with extra perks, because he also gets first strike, and he also gets precognition. Okay, so this is the first warlord. Next up is the epic warlord, Vetranio Shapura. So this guy spends 2 energy, he gains shield and front line. So this is sort of similar to what we saw with Nemetor and with Amadeus Duquesne, where you spend energy and you gain front line. Unlike Nemetor, he doesn't get an attack buff in front line mode, and unlike Amadeus Duquesne, he doesn't heal neighboring units. But what he does do is gain a shield, so you have to actually hit him twice in order to damage him, which is actually a pretty powerful ability as well. Okay, so that's the epic warlord. Now what we've all been waiting for, the legendary warlord, Constantine Valdor. In common with legendary warlords, he's got 2 attack and 40 health. His energy ability is sort of like Horus, but it's phrased differently. It's draw a troop from your deck. Now that looks like a weaker version of Horus's ability, because Horus comes in at high initiative, and he also has a 2 energy draw a card from your deck. But the nice thing about this is, as I said, Custodes rely on small numbers of powerful units, and they often have that Sentinel keyword which stops card draws, which might limit how many units you can get out there. So with Constantine Valdor, though, you can just spend energy to keep pulling your powerful units out of your deck. So that's going to make him tough to face. Now he also has this Reckoning, so let's go down and take a look at that Reckoning. So it starts at 14 energy. Oh, okay, so this one's actually going to be a little bit hard to pull off. It costs nothing if your hand is empty. So because of that Sentinel keyword, you kind of want to draw units in order to play more units in further turns, because with Sentinel you're going to be struggling to draw cards. But if you're not doing that, then you get to convert him into his Reckoning form. So there's going to be some interesting tactics you can do here. You've got to choose between having a board presence or triggering his Reckoning. Let's take a look at his Reckoning then. The Emperor's Spear. First strike, okay, so 3 attack, 40 health. He gets first strike now, and you can spend 2 energy and you gain +1 attack until the end of turn. Oh, this goes right into that archetype of having a small number of really powerful units. That's kind of cool. You can buff him a lot. Basically, it becomes like Lucius, but yeah, front line will be the bane of him. I don't know. I'm not terribly impressed by this. I don't think it's worth giving up board presence just to turn into Super Lucius. I don't know. Alright, well, let's take a look at what else do we have here. We can see there's some special card, Lightning Blow. I guess we'll see what that does in a moment. But we start with their 1 energy troop. Imperial Bureaucrat, Relentless, draw a card. So, okay, this card is a solution to a problem which the Custodes will have, which is that with Sentinel, they struggle to draw cards. The downside is this guy is super vulnerable. Look at him, only 2 health. He's going to get targeted with all sorts of things, either direct targeting or indirect targeting. So I suspect he is going to be a high priority to remove, and he doesn't have the health to stand up against that too much. Aries Guard. Alright, so this is the first of the Sentinel troops we see, and out of all the 2 energy cost units in the game, this has clearly the best stats. It has 3 energy, 3 attack, and 4 health for 2 energy, and it has front line on top of that. Early in the game, this is going to be the first roadblock you face when fighting against the Legio Custodes. Blood Games is next. Look at this guy. 2 energy, draw a card. If it's a Custodes, give Survivor 5 to your Warlord. So compare this to Manifest Destiny, which is a 5 energy legendary card, so you can only have 1 of them in your deck, which gives Survivor 5. This is less than half the cost, and it gives you a chance of getting Survivor 5, assuming the card you draw is a Custodes. So perhaps if your deck is at least 2/3 Custodes, 2 of these will actually give you a ton of staying power. Okay, and remember, it has to be Custodes, so not like these guys, because these are infantry. It has to be an actual Custodes troop type for Blood Games to work. It could be interesting. I don't know how our decks are going to end up getting built, but if they're very Custodes heavy, this will have a place in it for sure. Next, Herculean Sodality. He's a Custodes, 2 energy with flank, also Sentinel, but again, he's the best 2 energy flank troop there is in the game. 3 attack, 3 health. That's neat. And his Sentinel probably doesn't matter, because if you throw him into something with 3 attack, he's gonna die. So it becomes potentially a powerful removal tool. Imperial Emissary. So this is also a draw a card unit. It sort of is interesting. It's cost 2 energy to draw a card, but then that card's cost is reduced by 2 energy. So you're kind of boned if you draw a card which costs 1 or 0 energy. But if you're drawing a more expensive card, I mean, this is basically just a way of working through your deck and getting around Sentinel. He's got the same problem as Imperial Bureaucrat, though. With only 3 health and being able to be targeted, he's going to be vulnerable. So, neat effect. I'm going to be surprised if he survives too long. Shadow of the Throne. This one's more reliable. Create a copy of an enemy troop in your deck. Draw a card. So this puts an extra unit into your deck, but most importantly, it draws a card for you. So 2 energy to draw a card. That's more valuable. I like it. This is a better solution to Sentinel. I think 2 of these will be going into my decks. Diocleton. He's got Sentinel and he's got a cool rally ability. If you have no other troops, gain +1/1. That's actually pretty likely. Coming in at 3 energy, it's quite likely you don't have other troops at this point in the match, so he comes in at 3 energy and is a 4/5 troop. That's heavy. Of course, then after he's in play, you're no longer drawing cards, so there is that. I like it. Last line. Give front line and survivor 2 to a friendly troop. Okay, so imagine that. You drop this guy, he's 4/5. After the next turn, you attack with him or something, and then you give him last line, so he becomes your new defensive unit as well. This can combo quite nicely with a lot of cards. I think this will be cool. We'll see a lot of nice things done with this one. Next, it's a legendary, and this is interesting. It's a 3-cost legendary. Michaela Cobonus. Coburnus. Cobonus, huh. Anyway, he's got Sentinel, and he buffs neighboring units with extra attack. Again, that's comboing quite nicely with a lot of the units we're seeing here. So I like this. I think it's going to be useful in many different contexts. And hey, check that out. It looks like he's a Knight's Cross winner. Alright. Mortalis Wrath. Give +3 attack to a friendly troop this turn and draw a card. Okay, that is great. We actually did see this one in the reveals as well. But this has a double bonus. It draws a card, which you definitely want as Custodes, but it also gives one of your units a big attack buff this turn, which again helps you with the problem that since you can only have a small number of units, what if your units are weak when the enemy's playing strong high health units? Well, that's what this guy's for. Alright, next, Neron Squad. First Strike and Sentinel. Yeah, this is pretty average, only 3 health, so they're quite likely to die quickly. They've got Sentinel, they stop you drawing cards, but if they survive to the next turn, that first strike could be pretty cool. Maybe these are guys you drop and play Escape Vent on, I don't know. Preternatural Skill, I showed this one in my reveals video. This is an incredible card. No matter which Warlord you pick, this guy has to be in there. Healing and Precognition for your Warlord, always fantastic. The Ephori. Jam an enemy troop, then deal 2 damage to it. Interestingly, I don't get this. What is that? Oh, it's a tactic, never mind. For some reason I thought this was a troop. Okay, this is actually pretty cool. It's a combination of Sabotage and Quick Attack, I guess, from Sons of Horus. So jam and deal 2 damage to an enemy. It's sort of a improved version, also more expensive, of the Emperor's Children tactic, which does 2 damage and then jams if you achieve perfection. This is a guaranteed jam and 2 damage for 3 energy. Belt Squad. These guys have Sentinel, and then for spending 2 energy they gain front line and +2 health. That doesn't look overwhelming until you realize you can repeat this each turn. So every turn they survive, you can spend 2 energy and give them a bonus 2 health. So that's going to help them stay strong as your frontliners for a while. And of course, if you've got Velt Squad up, and they're sitting next to Michaela Coburnus, Velt Squad becomes pretty badass. It becomes a 5 attack, 4 health frontline unit. Next is Ephori Squad. Okay, so these guys have the solution to 3 health. They come in with stealth, and they have first strike, and they have 5 attack. That is a neat ability, so they're quite likely to survive until you're ready to attack with them. So they'll be quite the nightmare. And of course, if you then play Last Line on them to give them Survivor, that'll make them even more of a nightmare. Next is a rare Eratin Squad. Ooh, look at that. Warlord buffing. Give +2 attack to your Warlord until your next turn. It's kind of interesting because you're then giving up attacking with a 3 health, 3 attack unit in favor of giving +2 attack to your Warlord. This will combo well with one of the other cards I did in my reveal, where your Warlord does an area of effect damage equal to his attack. So maybe that's what these guys are mostly there for, boosting your Warlord for that card. Halls of Terra. What do we have here? Refill your energy. Oh, that is great. Imagine playing this in your 10 energy turn. So you play a 6 energy card, then you play Halls of Terra, and you can keep dumping stuff out. I like it. Lenten Knights. Okay, this is your frontline unit. They've got Sentinel. Kind of underwhelming. 4 attack, 6 health. Although they are coming in at just 4 energy. But that Sentinel is kind of punishing on these units. Because their other stuff doesn't feel so fantastic as to make the Sentinel trade-off worth it. Yeah, I think for 4 energy, maybe a better tank is the Mechanica 3 attack, 4 health unit. I don't know. It's a tough choice. Lex Ultima. This is also one of the solutions to you having not enough cards, having trouble with card draw as Custodes. So this will help you to pull up cards if you don't have many and your opponent has loads. Only in death. Oh, look at that. So when you have, say, one of your own damage Custodes left on the board, yes, you have a damaged Custodes on the board, and you have a powerful enemy troop on the board. You play only in death, and it's sort of like Sedition's Gate for World Eaters, in that your targeted unit and a random enemy dies, but then you also add a Dreadnought to your deck. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at Telamon Dreadnought. Where is that thing? Oh my god, it's a 9 energy unit. So you get a free, well, not free, you still have to pay the energy cost, but you get one of these guys added to your deck. We'll take a look at them in more detail later on. Next is a legendary card, the Paragon Spear. What does this one do? Okay, it costs 4 energy to play. Give your Warlord Relentless. Create a lightning blow in your hand. And what does a lightning blow do? 2 energy cost. Your Warlord gains +1 attack and Bloodthirst this turn. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Again, it buffs your Warlord a lot. And it lets him do 2 powerful attacks. Very interesting. Yeah, I can see that being helpful. It's a neat weapon. It's an effect we haven't seen before. Most of the time, the weapon legendaries just give your Warlord a straight up stats boof. Well, I mean a stats buff. But this is a different approach. I like what the developers are doing. Okay. Praesidium Shield. It's a tactic, gives shield and +2 health to a friendly troop. Oh, that's what these guys are really itching for. After you attack with them, then the next turn, or hopefully the same turn, you play Praesidium Shield, and that protects them and gives them better stats. Trajanar Jet Bikes, or maybe it's Spanish, Trajanar Jet Bikes, I don't know. They've got fast, and they've got battle honor, so that's kind of cool. Because of battle honor, it ends up being a bit like a tactic, a reusable tactic, where you spend 4 energy, you deal 3 damage, and if the target dies and these guys survive, they go back to your hand. So that's a neat effect. I like it. Sometimes it's annoying with these battle honor effects, which go back to your hand, but we'll see. Sorry, that was my phone ringing there. So, alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. Our Toulon Veterans. So we saw these in the reveal. They have neat stats for 5 energy, but you're really in these guys for the survivor. They're going to stick around and be a pain. Auric Mortalis. I did this one in my reveal video. This is where all that buffing of your Warlord stats really pays off, because you deal damage equal to your Warlord's attack to all enemies. So let's say if you've had Paragon Spear in play, the next turn you create a lightning blow, which you then play, so your Warlord goes up to 3 attack, and you then play Auric Mortalis, and you do 3 damage to everything on the board, and then you attack twice with your Warlord because of lightning blow. Neat, right? Eternal Vigilance. Ooh, this is a neat buff for your Warlord. Give your Warlord Relentless Heal 1. So, by contrast, the Iron Hands have a 5 energy card which allows healing of 2 points each turn. But the downside with that is it's a random friendly target which gets healed. So you can only guarantee your Warlord is getting healed if your Warlord is the only wounded thing on your board. With Eternal Vigilance, your Warlord is always the one getting healed no matter what, but the trade-off is you get less healing. The Emperor's Gift. This is a rhino, and the cool thing about, actually it's a grav rhino, so it floats. Many rhinos allow you to draw troops. This is a relatively more expensive one, 2 energy, but it draws a Custodes out of your deck. But the nice thing about it is anyone trying to attack it gets stunned as well, which is a pretty cool bonus. Termalis Support. I did these guys in my preview, so this just boosts your Warlord stats. Not a bad effect for 5 energy, decent stats. Next is Vespasian Command. Oh, nice! Give +1 to your units this turn. That includes your Warlord, and can attack again. So this is another way of buffing your Warlord as well as other people. Powerful, very powerful. Average stats for 5 energy, given it has Sentinel, but really you're in it for this energy ability, which is super cool. Add Sultan, Heavy Assault Squad. Deal 4 damage. If the target dies, can act again. Okay, that's pretty cool. Again, for 6 energy though, its stats are actually average, but given it has Sentinel. But what it does mean is that you can potentially use this guy to do some board cleanup. You can probably kill 2 targets and then attack a 3rd target directly, which is neat and helps to compensate for being outnumbered. Next is another epic, Hunting Eagles. So these guys have flank and they have first strike and they have a whopping 6 attack. So wow, that is that is really powerful. Look at those stats, man. Okay. So yeah, you'll drop these guys and kill anything immediately which has 6 or less health. Of course, Sentinel's there, so then you stop drawing cards, but that's really cool. Tribune, this is a legendary. Look at this guy. First strike, Sentinel, and Battle Honor. So you drop him. If he survives until your next turn, he can start just going to town, clearing out the enemy board. Wow. Okay. That is neat. Acetum Terminators. These guys are frontline Sentinel. They basically have stronger than average stats for 7 energy with no conditions on that. That's okay, but I mean this is a common card, so you generally expect common cards to be okay. Next, Sagittarius Dreadnought. This is an epic. Now this is more like it. Coming in at 7 energy but with a massive 9 attack and still 7 health. What these guys can do is spend 3 energy to just instantly destroy an enemy infantry or Astartes. So that Shipmaster Carrier got dropped? Well, kill him. It is Malagurus, the equerry of Horus, on the board trying to copy your tactics. Spend 3 energy, kill him. So, lots of potential uses for that. It is a vehicle, so all the cards like crack grenades and melt bombs which work against vehicles will trigger on this guy too. Aquilon Terminators. If your Warlord is attacked, deal 3 damage to the attacker, and on top of that they've got 8 attack, 9 health. So these are sort of like the Raven Guards, they've got a card which does the same thing, I can't remember the name of it, which is a similar effect. The Raven Guard one has weaker stats but does more damage to the attacker, but it has stealth as well. So I think the Raven Guard version is better, although I think that's an epic card and this is just a rare, but this is pretty neat. I can see it getting used. Next is another epic. We are looking at Calais Annihilator. So this is a vehicle. It gets dropped. It has shields, so it can take the first hit. Anyone who attacks it gets stunned, and it deals 4 damage twice. I don't know what that really means. If it's 4 damage to 2 different targets, or deal 4 damage twice to the same target, which would help deal with shielded and survivor enemies. I think it's 4 damage probably to the same target, which would be a kind of cool effect. We haven't seen that much before. Next is a legendary, Benediction of the Emperor. Heal 5 to all your units. Your next troop or tactics costs 0. Oh, this is awesome. So let's say you're at the late game. You've got this card and another expensive card in your hand. Well, you can play this and then play your next card for 0. Which is a double bonus. You can potentially play 2 powerful cards at once in 1 turn. Next, Censure. Oh, look at that. It's Prospero Burning. Deal 3 damage to all enemies, and the cost comes down by 1 when your opponent plays a tactic. So all those tactic heavy decks are just setting themselves up for this, which is kind of cool. And then we've got Telamon Dreadnought. So this has so many effects. Look at that. 4 different specials. It has Frontline, it has Shield, it also has Sentinel, and it has Survivor 3, making it really hard to kill. It's got so many special effects, there's not enough room to show them all on here. Ha. Okay. That is a pretty cool card, I like it. And the very last card we're looking at is Shield of the Imperium. This is a common vehicle. Ooh, look at that. I mean, it is really expensive, but it has a neat relentless effect. Every turn, draw Custodes from your deck, so it offsets Sentinel completely. Alright, so that's a look at the Legio Custodes. They seem pretty powerful. Now, I did get the pre-constructed deck, so you know what? Let's go ahead and... yeah, well, actually, you know, I'll make that in the next video. So anyhow, hopefully you found this useful, and please remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and you'll get notified when my next videos go up. Well, there should be a couple more coming this week, so stay tuned. Alright, bye for now, guys.